Yo, what is up, guys? So today we are talking about the upcoming main event at UFC Fight Night Holloway versus Kattar. Obviously, this fight is a featherweight fight. We have the best featherweight fighter, in my opinion, in Max Holloway, taking on Calvin Kattar, the sixth best featherweight fighter in the world. And they both have similar experience. Max Holloway, 21-6, coming off of two losses in his last two fights, both to Alexander Volkanovski. In both of those fights were very controversial losses. A lot of people thought that he won the fight against Alexander Volkanovski that happened around 5 months ago. But he did end up losing that fight by split decision. Calvin Kattar is coming off of two wins against Jeremy Stephens by TKO, and then Dan Ige by unanimous decision. Before that, only losing to Zabit Magomedsharipov by unanimous decision. This fight should be absolutely insane. I cannot wait for this fight to happen. And guys, by the way, Max Holloway is actually the younger fighter out of these two, as he is 29 years old, which is just crazy to say, as he's already become the featherweight champion and is currently, in my opinion, the best featherweight fighter in the world. Calvin Kattar is 3.5 years older, which is really crazy to say. He's 32.5 years old. They both have the same height at 5'11" tall, but Calvin Kattar definitely has a humongous reach advantage in this one at 72 inches. Max Holloway currently sitting around 69 inches. This should be an amazing fight. And as I said at the beginning of the video, Max Holloway, he's a pretty big favorite to win this one at -185. Calvin Kattar currently sitting around +160 as a slight underdog to win the fight. And when you look at those Tapology predictions, out of 700 different votes, which is a very good sample size, 75% of the vote are going for Max Holloway to win the fight, mainly by unanimous decision. And then obviously, we have some people saying he's going to win the fight by knockout. Literally 0 people are saying either one of these fighters is going to get a submission in this fight. That makes perfect sense. There's no way one of these fighters is going to get a submission. When is this fight going to go to the ground? It's going to stay on the feet. Max Holloway, an amazing kickboxer, versus one of the best boxers in the UFC in Calvin Kattar. This fight is definitely going to stay on the feet and is either going to be a knockout or a unanimous decision for one of these fighters. And then obviously 25% of the vote are going for Calvin Kattar to win the fight, obviously mainly by unanimous decision. And then some people obviously have him to win the fight by knockout. In my opinion, I don't really see a knockout happening in this one. I give the chances that we do see a knockout from one of these fighters in this fight. Maybe a 1 out of 3 chance, a 33% chance that we see a knockout in this fight. I'm very confident that this fight's going to go all the way, and one of them is going to win the fight by decision. I don't really see a finish from either knockout or decision or TKO. And I mean, if you look at Max Holloway's record, 21-6 is obviously an amazing record for this featherweight division, especially because he's been at the top of this featherweight division for so long now. And he started his career back in 2010 with a decision win, a first-round knockout, 2 more decision wins, got inside the UFC in 2012, lost his first fight inside the promotion to Dustin Poirier by first-round triangle armbar, came back with a decision win over Pat Schilling, a second-round body punch KO win over Justin Lawrence, a split decision win over Leonard Garcia, then lost a split decision to Dennis Bermudez, and then fought Conor McGregor, lost that one by unanimous decision, came back with a second-round knockout win over Will Chope, a third-round guillotine choke submission win over Andre Fili, got a third-round TKO win over Clay Collard, a first-round knockout win over Akira Kurasani, and then a decision win over Cole Miller, followed by a third-round guillotine choke submission win over Cub Swanson, and then he just kept on winning as he got a first-round TKO win in his next fight against Charles Oliveira in a main event at UFC Fight Night 74. And after that win over Charles Oliveira, he just kept on winning again as he got a decision win in his next fight against Jeremy Stephens by unanimous decision. Then he got another decision win over Ricardo Lamas, and then a third-round knockout win over Anthony Pettis for the interim featherweight championship, which got him a shot at the best featherweight fighter of all time in Jose Aldo in a fight he actually won back in 2017 by third-round TKO, making him the second featherweight champion of all time. And then in his next fight, obviously, it was a rematch with Jose Aldo, which he actually won again by third-round TKO. Absolutely insane. 9 seconds left in that third round, and he knocked out Jose Aldo. Absolutely insane. And after that win, those 2 wins over Jose Aldo, he was supposed to fight Frankie Edgar in 2018. That fight fell through. He was supposed to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. That fight fell through. He was supposed to fight Brian Ortega. That fight fell through. And finally, at the end of 2018, a year after that second win over Jose Aldo, he fought Brian Ortega, who was undefeated at 14-0 at the time, in a fight he won by 4th round TKO, and it was an absolute domination over Brian Ortega. But in his next fight for the interim lightweight championship, he ended up losing that fight by unanimous decision and came back after that with a decision win over Frankie Edgar for the featherweight championship. But in his next fight, he actually ended up losing that featherweight championship to Alexander Volkanovski by unanimous decision. It was a little bit controversial, but they did run it back about a half year later at UFC 251, and he ended up losing yet again by split decision. That one was much more controversial, as literally 95% of people thought Max Holloway won that one, including myself. That's why I still consider him as the best featherweight fighter in the world. But now he has a very tough task ahead of him in Calvin Kattar, one of the best boxers inside the UFC. He has a record of 22 wins, 4 losses. Started his career back in 2007 with 3 first-round knockout wins in a row. Lost a first-round rear naked choke submission loss to James Jones. Came back with a first-round knockout, first-round triangle, first-round knockout, first-round guillotine. Got another first-round knockout. Lost one fight to Darn Carlos Claus. Got another win. Got a first-round knockout. 5 straight unanimous decision wins in a row. Then got another decision win over Chris Foster. Got a shot inside the UFC. Once he joined the UFC back in 2017, he got a decision win over Andre Fili. A third-round knockout win over Shane Burgos. Lost his next fight to Renato Moicano by unanimous decision. Came back with 2 first-round knockout wins over Chris Fishgold and Ricardo Lamas. But lost his next fight to Zabit Magomed Sharipov, a top 5 featherweight fighter in the world. Lost that one by unanimous decision. Came back with a second-round TKO win over Jeremy Stephens, which got him a main event spot at a UFC fight night against Dan Ige in a fight he won by unanimous decision. And now, in 2021, he looks to come back with another win over one of the greatest featherweight fighters of all time in Max Holloway. This should be an amazing fight. This should be an amazing striking battle between these two fighters in this fight. Alright guys, so as I said before, Calvin Kattar inside the UFC has beat guys like Andre Fili, Shane Burgos, Chris Fishgold, Ricardo Lamas, Jeremy Stephens, and Dan Ige. The only guys he's lost to were Renato Moicano and Zabit Magomed Sharipov. But what do Zabit and Renato have in common with Max Holloway? They both have very unique styles of striking. If you look up any Zabit Magomed Sharipov fight, you look at the ways he moves around the cages, shoots for his takedowns, gets you in the clinch, even lands his shots when he lands his shots. Zabit Magomed Sharipov, he's such a hard puzzle to solve on this UFC roster. That is why nobody has yet to beat Zabit Magomed Sharipov inside the UFC, and that is why I do not think that Calvin Kattar will win this fight against Max Holloway. Even in the fight with Calvin Kattar and Zabit Magomed Sharipov, it took him 2 rounds to actually get some good shots on Zabit. The first and second round obviously went to Zabit. The third round, you could argue went to Calvin because he came back in that third round and he looked very good. That is what I think is going to happen in this one. The first and second round, in my opinion, are going to go to Max Holloway because it's going to be a hard puzzle for Calvin Kattar to solve. But once that third round comes, he's going to solve that puzzle and I probably win the third and fourth round. But once the fifth round comes around, Max Holloway has been in so many 5-round battles in his UFC career, and I definitely think that fifth round is going to go to Max Holloway. And at that point, it's already going to be too late for Calvin Kattar, as Max Holloway will win the fight 48-47 unanimous decision. Alright guys, if you agree with that prediction, maybe you guys disagree with that prediction, I don't really care. Put your predictions in the comment section below. I would love to see what you guys think is going to happen in this fight. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on those post notifications so you guys don't miss when I post a new video. That'd be absolutely insane. So make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. I'm out of here.